Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about Strung, starring Chloe Bailey, Lynn Whitfield, and some other people. um, so honestly, I really wanted to love this movie because I like Chloe Bailey. You know, um, she's had some acting stints, which I thought she's done okay in. I mean, I don't really necessarily feel like Chloe Bailey is the best actress, but I am a fan of her, and so I was like, okay, let's give this a shot. And man, where do I begin? So this movie, Chloe Bailey's character is a violinist. And pretty much something happened to her sister. It doesn't say recently or not, but we find out that her little sister had an asthma attack, and pretty much she has PTSD from this. She's always showing, like, I mean, envisioning the little sister gasping for air and I guess dying. And I guess she feels bad about this. Anywho, she's also a teacher at a school, a violin teacher, and she actually wants to be in an orchestra. And she is struggling to find a job, or she's auditioning and she's not getting accepted. So very important to the plot. She's one night, she's sitting in a diner, she's eating food, and she comes across, well, not comes across, there's this handsome man sitting behind her at the diner. And eventually he approaches her, they go home together or to a hotel together, and you know what happens after that. So now the next morning or whenever it is, she's at work and she's exiting her classroom after she's been, teaching the kids violin. And this woman, Lynn Whitfield, approaches her and she's like, "You play so beautifully. I want you to come and teach my granddaughter music." And so, this woman is rich and all this stuff. And so she accepts. And she goes to the house, and the daughter initially, it seems very creepy. She's wearing a mask. The grandmother is like, she's just, ever since her father died, she explains all this stuff. So we actually find out that her father was a famous musician or famous music composer. I don't know what he was, but he was a celebrity. He was rich. And so she also has a mom who seems very, very mentally unstable. And it seems like right off the bat, she does not like Chloe Bailey's character. We also see like this montage of her, I guess, getting closer to this little girl whose name is Zuri. And she clearly sees her little sister in this little girl. Eventually, the little girl gets comfortable enough to take off the mask. And we also see that she's pretty much starting to do things other than teaching this child music. Like she's like making this child breakfast. She's like doing cleaning, do all types of things that she ain't supposed to do. And I'm just like, man, if that was me, I would have quit this job, because also you're doing these things and these people are not really being the nicest to you. They're kind of rude. They're mean. They're like, oh, it's not supposed to go that way, all this type of stuff. And this whole movie, I'm just like, this is unrealistic, right? Because it's not like she didn't have a good job prior to this. She had a good job. It's not like she was desperate for this job. So I'm just confused as to why she's even staying there in the first place. But I digress. We move on. The montage ends. And then we see the husband of the grandmother's daughter. And he is none other than the man that she had an affair with. Now we know it's an affair. So she runs and hides, but eventually she has to come back out and he realizes that it's her. He's like, "What are you doing here?" Right? And she's like, "It's just a coincidence." And I think not. I think not. This is not a coincidence, because how likely is it that it's like, oh yeah, you slept with this man and then he comes and is like the husband of like this woman, and what the son-in-law of this woman that asked you to teach her grandchild music. How likely? And we know this is supposed to be a psychological thriller, so we know there's more to the story. So anyways, they have dinner and stuff like that. And this is the point where I was just like, you should have left. You should have left. But clearly she likes this man. And it's like, at the first time she wasn't at fault because she didn't know that he was married, but now you are at fault. And so obviously we know throughout the movie they continue to have their affair. I don't understand how this is going on, right? In the same house as his wife at nighttime. Like, is your wife not expecting you to be in bed with you? Like, I would have gotten up and went looking for him. But anyways, we find out later on possibly why she wasn't looking for him. Um, but anywho, things start to get a little crazy. Again, remember, Chloe wants to be a violinist and play in an orchestra or whatever. And so this man has actually, we also find out this man is actually also in the music industry. Not only is he in the music industry, but he was, I guess, the partner of this woman's husband who died. And he married his friend's wife after he died. The wife is also pregnant, by the way. I forgot that very important part. And so this is all very suspicious, isn't it? And so I, right off the bat, when I find this out, I'm like, there's no way that he didn't kill him. There's just no way. Also, you kind of feel like Imani, which is the mom's name, you kind of feel like she's crazy, but I feel like we're meant to feel like she's crazy. It's like a red herring kind of thing, because it's like there's no way that she's the one at fault for all of this. But anywho, yeah, he's this music producer, whatever. And so while they're laying in bed together in the same house as his wife, he's like, yeah, like I have this person coming to the baby shower. Like I asked you to play, they're gonna listen to, they'll love you. And she's like, oh my God, thank you. Right. And so the baby shower comes and they're taking pictures and stuff like that. And then he goes over to her to talk to her. And like first of all, she's dressed inappropriately. I don't care if you're playing. Like, I feel like you could have dressed more appropriately. It's not your baby shower. Anyway, and then he goes over to talk to her and like he's walking her away and he has his whole arm around her hip. And I'm like, ain't your wife there? Ain't a bunch of people there that know your wife is there? Like, I'm so confused. I'm confusified. I don't get it. She walks away. She gets prepared to play the violin. She comes out and she starts playing and she starts messing up. And so the person who's there to watch her, she starts making these all types of faces and stuff like that at her. It's just like, okay. So clearly it's over for her. Done deal. And so she actually turns over her violin and she sees that it was cracked at the back. And also there's a paper stuffed into the violin that says, I know. And going back a little bit, after she wakes up from their little escapade in the bedroom, the husband had left her a note that says like, I forget what it says, like, you make me feel alive, something like that, right? And that's the same paper that says I know on it. Also, prior to this, I think it was the night before, she was talking with the wife, like giving her a bath. Unbelievable. And pretty much like she sees that Chloe Bailey's character has a hickey on her neck that she tried to cover up. And she's also talking about, oh, my husband used to leave these little notes and stuff. And so, you put two and two together, you figured that, yeah, she does know. Now, by the end of the movie, I'm not sure if the I know was from her or from someone else, but I digress. And yeah, so she sees this note and the crack at the back and she starts yelling down the place, like going to the wife and like, oh, how could you do this to me? How could you do this to me? And oh my goodness, I completely lost it. Because what do you mean? How could you do this to me? Girl, you deserve it. You're in her house having an affair with her husband while she's paying you all this money and you're getting close to her daughter and you have the nerve to be like, how could you do this to me? Oh my gosh, be so for real. So anyways, the grandmother comes in and is like, I couldn't believe it. I can't believe I didn't expect this from you. And then, pretty much fires her until Zuri's recital. So she's still working there. Also, forget to mention, every time she goes to pick up Zuri for school, they have like two scenes where this woman is like staring at her and following her and stuff like that. And there comes the last scene with this woman is when she kind of attacks her. She's like, help me, help me. She tells her friend, who's played by Coco Jones, about this, and they find out who the woman is. And pretty much this woman is the dead husband's mother, so Zuri's paternal grandmother. And she tells them that she suspects that her son didn't just die of natural causes. She feels like her son was killed. And she thinks he hid something in the house that proves that he was killed. And so Chloe Bailey's driving back to the house at this point, to finish up her duties until she actually leaves. And she's listening to a song from him, and also like the mask is similar to Zuri's mask, when she find out that her father gave Zuri the mask. And he says something that the daughter says. It's like, if you die in your dreams, that means you died in real life, or something like that. But anyways, she sees the mask and she goes into the room. I don't know how she knows it's this room. Oh, I think it says something about snakes, and they have a snake in the house. How they don't see this thing in the snake container, maybe they're just very oblivious. I don't know. But she tries to reach into to get this box to take it out. And she finds it, and then she puts it into her violin case, and she's packing up her stuff to go. And as she's doing so, oh wait, sorry. Before she does that, she's walking down the hallway and she hears a voice. She hears a grandmother's voice, and she's talking to someone who is Marcus. That's his name. That's the husband's name. And she goes and she listens, and clearly you find out that the two of them are in cahoots. They definitely conspired to murder the husband. And I'm going to explain why I'm just so confused about this movie at the end. And she's like calling like her daughter's child that's in her stomach, like her son. She's like, oh, when our son is born, we'll have everything. And then, you find out that they're together because they hop in bed together. And it's just like, what? So you was having an affair with your daughter's husband? This man is just all over the place. We also find out. So, okay, sorry. She goes to the room. That's when she packs up this box that she finds. And while she's leaving, she doesn't even get to exit the room because here comes Marcus. And he's like, oh, you should go downstairs. She's preparing dinner. She's like, oh, and she tries to come onto him, and he turns her down. So clearly he's like onto her. They go down to dinner. Imani is there. She looks super drugged up. And they start questioning her about what Zuri has told her about her father. And she's just like acting all like, oh my God. I'm like, why do people in these movies never act normal when they're asked questions? Can we just act normal? Come up with a lie, a good one. Anyway, so, and eventually they're like, let's cut to the chase. Like, we know you know everything, pretty much. And they tell this other random person, I guess, that they hired to go search her stuff because they think she has something. How they know she even has anything is beyond me. How they know that she went to see the grandmother is also beyond me. I don't know. Maybe this person was following her the entire time. The random dude that they just got. I don't know. I don't know how they know any of this. But anywho, he finds, I guess it looks like a recording or whatever. But then he gives it to Marcus. And this is a thing that she does that annoys me, because the grandmother, when she sits at the table, there is going around pouring wine, and she's like covering her glass, like, no, mind you, she gives everybody else the wine, right? But she drinks the water that was already on the table. Of course, the water was the one that had the drugs in it, because she passes out. When she comes to, she's in the car with the white guy that they hired, I guess, to kill her, right? And so he drags her to her car, which I guess they had already driven out there. And I guess their plan is to like put her in the car, push her into the water. However, when he drags her to the car, she has like the EpiPen there, and he stabs him in the eye. So sorry, I'm forgetting some stuff. So if we backtrack a little bit, so the grandmother's plan was also to get rid of Zuri, her granddaughter, because for some reason she needs to get rid of her in order to have whatever legacy. So Zuri has, I guess, is allergic to a bunch of stuff, and so she plans to feed Zuri food so that Zuri will die. And prior to this, some scenes before this, um, their plan was also to make Chloe Bailey's character look like she was guilty of she was the one that gave Zuri the food, because prior to this, Zuri had an allergic reaction to a bee when they were outside. And she clearly she got to the EpiPen quickly enough because Zuri is still alive, but somehow they try to blame her for not having the EpiPen when she did have the EpiPen. I'm just so confused about that scene. But yeah, they're trying to say like she was irresponsible, and then so that's why she killed herself. However, when the guy comes to the car, she has the EpiPen and she stabs him in the eye with it. And she gets away. She drives back to the house, goes straight to Zuri. Zuri is still alive because Zuri is like, I suspected something was off, so I didn't eat the food. I'm like, little girl, I don't know how the hell you would suspect that something is off. I don't know. Anyways, we're going to assume she's super smart and she has this great intuition. So anyway, she tells her to like pretty much go find her mom, who's knocked out upstairs. So now we know that pretty much when this man was going to see Chloe Bailey's character all them nights and stuff like that, more than likely she was drugged up and sleeping and had no idea that he wasn't even in the bed. And so she's running through the house. I think she comes into encounter with Marcus first. She escapes him, and the grandmother, she's running down the hallway and the grandmother slams her in the head with her violin. And so at this point, you know, she comes to and they're like arguing and stuff, all this stuff. You know, Marcus comes and he's like, the grandmother tells Marcus, like, go find Zuri. She can't be far. At this point, Imani's woken up because she's heard all this screaming and stuff like that. She's going into the room to look for something. I think it's a gun. I don't know. She can't find it. He grabs up Zuri, brings Zuri downstairs. The grandmother's holding up Zuri. Imani is coming down the stairs with her very pregnant self. And, you know, the grandmother's like, oh, but careful, because she's struggling, because she knows she's still coming too. The grandmother's like, oh, be careful, I'll come get you. She only cares because she's carrying the baby, which I don't know how you think you're going to get this on. Are you going to kill this woman after she has the baby? Like, how do you think this is just going to be your son? Anyways, so, you know, she's doing this whole montage of how, like, you know, she's like, oh, I was just like you to Chloe Bailey. You know, I was cleaning people's dishes, mopping their floors, doing all this stuff for rich people. And I was just like you. And I'm just like, well, Chloe had an actual job prior to this. And you like are forced her to do this because you wanted to do, you had a whole plot. So it's not really the same thing. But anywho, and she's like, oh, and I did everything to make, you know, Imani like be more, do something with her life. But then she married this ghetto trash. And I'm like, are we talking about the same ghetto trash whose house you're living in, who was rich? And that's why y'all are also rich. For some reason, she wants this legacy for herself. I'm not really sure. I'm not even understanding the entire plot of this movie, because I'm just like, why is the grandmother so invested in just like getting rid of Imani, getting rid of Zuri, being with Marcus? I'm like, what does this benefit you? Because it's like, you're already related to Imani. You're living there in the house, highly involved. I don't understand what is the purpose. Like, I understand Marcus because when he listened to the tapes and Chloe listened in on it, she snuck in and listened in on it. Pretty much like this dude was like, yeah, you're not having no parts in this stuff. Like he didn't want Marcus to have a say for some reason. Clearly Marcus had some type of you know, issue with this, and that's why he wanted to kill the husband, because he probably wanted to take over his stuff and have access to all his stuff so he could become this big music producer or musician that his partner was, RGB, the musician, the husband. I mean, like, I get that type of jealousy, I guess, but I'm not even understanding where the grandmother comes into this. I'm sorry. Like, I tried to make sense of it so much after I watched the movie, and I'm just confused as to why she wanted to. She's like, oh, this my son, his new son is gonna be the legacy. And it's just like, well, wait, why? I'm not even under how do you think you're gonna get this stuff, his stuff? How are you gonna get it? Like, I don't even understand. But anyways, she kills off Marcus right quick because she's like, he's a loose end. I She shoots him, kills him. I don't know why. Apparently he's a loose end somehow. So that this whole plan of you being with him and making your millions and having a legacy, I don't know what you're old. I don't know what is the purpose here. Anyways, Chloe Bailey starts to try to fight her to get Zuri from her. And then she's like shooting up in the air, and she shoots up at the chandelier. And the chandelier drops on her and kills the grandmother. And then a week later, we're at Zuri's recital. She does phenomenally. Chloe Bailey looks back because she still has PTSD and she thinks she sees the grandmother, but it's not her. Because at first I was like, yo, how is she still alive? But she just had PTSD. But yeah, that's the movie. And honestly, even the connection with like her sister to Zuri, like we didn't get enough to see like, oh, how close she was to her sister. We find out it wasn't really her fault that her sister even died from the asthma attack. It's just like this trying to make us feel something between her and her sister and her and Zuri, and all of it. Like, the plot was too all over the place. I feel like they could have done just a so much better job with this movie. And it's just so unfortunate. Like, there are plot lines they could have rolled with and made better, but yeah, y'all, that is this movie. That is Strung. Watch it if you want to watch it. 4 out of 10. um yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Oh, if you like bracelets, by the way, I have an Etsy where I sell a bunch of jewelry that I make for myself. Here it is. Hey y'all, so if you are interested in quality handmade jewelry, go onto Etsy, type in my shop name, Rose and Ravello, and just click on that first shop name. There you can find all types of things, jewelry sets, earrings, necklaces, bracelets, chain bracelets, all types of things that I do all on my own, and I put all of my effort into it to make it feel personal and just make it, unique for whoever is buying it. So I would certainly love if you check it out. The link will be in the description box below. But yeah, thank y'all so much for watching. If you like videos like this, make sure you give this a thumbs up, and I'll keep making more videos like this. Make sure you subscribe to my channel for more content like this, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.